Welcome old family and new family to Cypher Scholars. Part education, part hip-hop, all culture. You're listening to your boy Brandon White, a.k.a. Bushido Garvey, a.k.a. Glitch Huxtable.
Hi, listen to the co-host Rob Blow.
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a honored guest in the Cypher today. You know what I'm saying? Esteemed MC and good brother, good friend, critical thinker and analyzer and forever learner, brother Azariah. What's going on, brother?
What up?
What's going on, kid?
What's up?
Great to have you on here, man.
Thank you.
Let's hop straight to the chase, because you know these ciphers are only like 30 minutes, so let's go ahead and hop right into it.
Yes, sir.
So
for the icebreaker, man, over the past few years, a lot of rappers have had biographies written about them, right? Like Common, Gucci Man, Rakim, Rick Ross, etc.
Mm-hmm.
What would yours be called and why?
Oh man, mine would be called, like he said, just constant evolution, smooth, freshest development is what it would be called, because that's really what it is.
Okay.
I'm a development man. Nothing's perfect. Nothing's remains the same. It's ever changing, ever growing. And if you can't learn, if you can't grow, then what are you here for? You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
I like that.
Man. Smooth, freshest development. And you know, when you first started that, I never heard anybody call their label or their movement a development, and that makes sense that you had that as the background. You know what I'm saying? Just because, what's that the silk milk commercial or for soy milk or whatever? They have a tagline called "Progress is Perfection."
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? And while I'm not a fan of silk soy milk, I'm a fan of that phrase, and that's reflected in what you just said right there. So we're gonna hop straight into talking about the Black Gift real quick, right? As somebody who's been listening to your music for some time, and even again hearing the smooth freshness, mad aggressive. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that used to be the touch. Yeah, exactly. And that ties right into where I was gonna ask, because
one thing we ain't noticed.
Exactly. Works.
We noticed
the mad aggressive piece.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the Black Gift, like, so why did that approach get brought back? Like, it just seemed like you were more aggressive, like it was a different type of hunger, you know what I'm saying, in terms of like how that energy was displayed. So why that shift?
Well, it's it's really just my essence, man. You know what I'm saying? Me as an MC, as an artist, man, you gotta have that aggressive component. You know, don't nobody want to hear nobody just being all calm and not really having that abrasiveness. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, some people that get them in trouble, but I feel like that is what grabs the listener. You know what I'm saying? Especially for people that don't know you, they can relate to that.
Yeah.
Everybody relates to that aggression when you think of like the X's, you know what I'm saying, DMX, and you know what I'm saying, just certain brothers that had that grit to them. And like, you know, my stuff is very peaceful. I'm not a rah-rah dude, but with the Black Gift, I was just in that space, man. I was in a good space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We did Second Coming and Black Gift together, as well as a project called Fighter Spirit with Hustle. And I was just in that pocket, you know what I'm saying? All three of them projects. And I'm still in that pocket now, you know what I'm saying?
What put you in that pocket though?
Just evolving, you know what I'm saying? What I went through over the past few months, and what I've been going through pretty much all 2019. 2019 was a good year for me creatively, in terms of where my head was at. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, like, I'm an underdog. I've always been, you know what I'm saying? I've always been that. And it's like, I'm at the point now where I don't worry about people not getting it. Or I don't worry about trying to show it for everybody.
Gotcha.
I'm going to let it grab who it want to grab. And I'm going to just keep getting better and better and keep doing that, you know what I'm saying? So, that's really where I was at with it. And where I wanted. Yeah, it does. Because, you know, it's like in Rochester, we got, you know, the backpackers, we got the more street element dudes.
Right.
And it seems like the street element dudes is the only ones that get they just due in the city and outside of that. Yeah. And it's like, I feel like I'm an antithesis to that, where I can kind of bridge the gap between the two. You see what I'm saying?
Indeed.
So I feel like that's what Black Gift was, and then having Quest being there in the capacity that he's there in terms of being a marketer, in terms of being just like a gatekeeper in a way, because he knows so many people and it's just good with so many people.
Shout outs to Quest, by the way.
I'm blessed to have him bestow his production upon me, and for me to take it to where I need to take it.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? And we still growing, man. Like I was just talking to Quest yesterday or the other day, and I was telling him like, yo, man, I'm glad we doing this. I'm glad we're making good music. I want to see how the people receive it, and I want to see when it's time to come back and a performance, what joints is gonna go over well with the people when I actually get out there and perform them. You know what I mean? And get back in that space. Because like I told you before, I had to take a break from that just because a lot of janky stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yep. You can only be an MC for so long and deal with like a lot of the janky, unprofessional kind of
and you know that firsthand.
I know that very much firsthand. You know what I'm saying? So I can definitely resonate with that. You talked about the space that you've been in and it being, a challenging space, a good creative space over the past year, but still there's some challenges there.
Right.
And some of that was reflected in the Black Gift. You had said, you had a line that said mental illness but never been a Kurt Cobain. Right. And that's a big statement.
Like
good look.
So, can you describe what you mean with that line and how mental health kind of has impacted your art?
I feel like, it's no secret about my struggles with that.
Yeah.
In terms of just maybe having a synapses misfiring, or what they call misfiring, or what they label it as. But when I say that line, never been a Kurt Cobain, I've never been in a place, whether I'm on or off my rocker, where I wanted to take my life ever. That's never been a place I've been in. That's never been a thought, an inner thought, an afterthought. And when you're in these facilities, that's one thing they do. They put you on suicide watch. Just like if you get locked up, they take your shoelaces. You know what I'm saying? They do things like that. So to see that and to be like, wow, like people really go through this, and I'm in a different spot. I'm fighting. You know what I'm saying? Because I say my creative mind is very expansive. Like I'm a deep thinker. You know what I'm saying? Just like the way I see things is real colorful. You know what I'm saying? But I've never been in a place where I just wanted it to end. If anything, I'm a dreamer. I wanted to get bigger and bigger, and I want to, I daydream about providing for my family and being on yachts and just all the rapper stuff, typical rapper stuff. But just with a realist approach, because I was never one of them dudes either that's be like, oh, when I'm on, I'm gonna do this, or when I'm on, I'm gonna do that. I'm on already. You on already. You know what I'm saying? We already what we need to be. It's just about consistency, and being a journeyman.
Right.
Being happy in the process.
That's right.
The journey of it. The end goal is not what it's about. It's about the journey to stay in the moment, to stay creating, to stay evolving. You know what I'm saying? Social media is very big now. And I just want to keep expanding the social media, keep building my brand, and I'm writing everything down now too. I mean, my raps, I put them in my phone, but other than that, ideas, names for projects, all that stuff, I write it all out. You know what I'm saying? Even the money I spend, because I got to get better with that too. Budgeting and everything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Word up.
All right. So what are your thoughts about the openness hip hop has with regarding mental illness?
Say that again.
What are your thoughts about the openness hip hop now has regarding mental illness?
The openness?
Yeah, the openness in hip hop about mental illness.
Yeah, I kind of touched on this when we were speaking before on one of the other shows. Yeah, I think the one was just Atlas. With me, you, and Atlas.
Yeah. Oh, boom back. Okay.
It's more acceptable now.
Okay.
I feel like it's more acceptable. You got a slew of hip hop artists that deal with it. It's a regular thing, just like diabetes or high blood pressure, cholesterol, whatever it is. It's the things that we deal with, and like a lot of the young kids that are into the psychotropic drugs, the Xannies, you know what I'm saying, the Adderalls, or this and that, you know what I'm saying. It's something that I feel like hip hop is taking on, and like you got the whole subgenre, the emo rap, rappers, kind of deal with that. The suicide space, and rest in peace to what was it, Capital C's from ASAP.
New Era,
like, you know what I'm saying, dudes like that. So it's definitely ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? As a people, as a creative people, and as people that are in that creative space, and we all have that dream.
Right.
of making out of, the oppressed state that our people is in, the disenfranchisement. That's something that's gonna continue. You know what I'm saying? I daydream. I be in outer space sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that helped me was just to quit smoking. You know what I'm saying? I don't smoke tobacco. I don't smoke.
You said so smoking helped you get a clarity.
Get a clarity, yeah. Well, no, quit smoking.
Quit smoking. My fault.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, because cannabis can actually attribute to, if you have a predisposition to that, it can actually bring it on.
I mean, so attach piggyback piggy right now, whatever, man. Like you mentioned season the smoke in your album, you know what I mean, with the gifted album. You talked about stop smoking and all that, right? Because of whatever reasons, probably with your family, etc. Right? How has that affected your artistic and your personal growth?
I like that question.
In general, you know what I mean?
I like that, because a lot of people, I feel like it's a myth. A lot of people think that you have to be inebriated to be creative. I always been creative. I didn't start smoking until I was like 18, 19. You know what I'm saying? A lot more, few people start very younger than that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
I never needed any stimulus or depressants to get me where I needed to be creative, because I got a creative mind. I read more. Your mind is like a sponge. It's like a muscle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You work it out, it gets stronger. I've been reading up. I read Bushido, the book Bushido suggested I read, the Education of the Negro.
Yep. Black History Month. Shout outs to
Yeah,
Carter G.
yeah,
Woodson,
yeah.
the father of Black History Month.
I'm reading a lot right now. I'm reading New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, I think her name is.
Okay.
I'm reading a Billy Carson book. Was
it the Emerald Tablets?
Yeah, the Emerald Tablets one. That's a good one. A couple books I picked up from the library. I owe the library money right now, so I'm trying to get that.
Yeah,
but it's just about
right.
when I'm just have idle time, and when I don't want to watch television. I don't watch terrestrial television. I stream stuff. So if I'm not streaming what I want to stream, I'll pick up a book. I don't know if that's deviating from your question, but to answer your question,
no.
It's just so much more that I can do to stimulate my mind and not to dull my mind.
Yeah, yep. No, you're right. You're right, man.
What are some of the books? So Stop Smoking Weed give you more of a clarity to feed other sources of creativity. What are some of the books that you feel like are like some of the better books that you've read in this time period? I know you mentioned Miseducation of the Negro.
All the ones I
What
just
else?
mentioned. The Miseducation of the Negro, New Jim Crow. I'm reading a book on Marxism right now.
Okay.
That's a good one. I think Paul Augusta or somebody like that wrote that. And it's just good because we feel like we're special. We feel like, I'm the only one that knows this feeling. I'm like, nah. There's many people that deal with what you deal with on a daily basis. Yeah. And the more you read, the more you open your mind, you can see that, man, these people are going through this too, or they may have a better way to articulate it. Yeah. And even the material I watch, what I'm saying? I watch like a lot of the Black Magic stuff, the Brother Rich, the Red, the Blue, A.A. Rashid, just different stuff like that, man.
Urban X,
different Urban Excellence, different media outlets, just things that dudes are being creative and dudes are showing you like, yo, the way we grew up, like you asked me before, with the whole school system. Education and academia, that's two different things.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? Education never stops. You'll be learning until the day you die. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
Academia is reading something and then reciting it back on a test to get a grade. Right. That's a system. Education is more of a lifestyle.
Educate means to bring out, bring out, draw out of you, right? So you gotta know how to apply the information that you learn, like in a way.
Like Rock said, what good is knowledge of the man if he can't apply it? Or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
indeed.
I like to delve into things that I can apply immediately. If I can't do that, what's the point? And if I'm watching something, it's got to be an information component to it that I can, get something from. Like I'm doing like a lot of watching a lot of anime right now. You know what I'm saying? Just because like a lot of the Asian, it was kind of like us back in the 90s with the X-Men, the Spider-Man, the Batman. having jewels in the cartoons.
Yeah, they did.
The jewels for the kids now. It's not the same, man.
Yeah. So since we're talking about education, in your skit, one of the skits, you had a piece where Chuck D was talking about how it's important to provide education around hip hop just because it's such a historical arc with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like to just start doing it without understanding the in total context will be a little irresponsible, was his argument. So what do you think are some things about hip hop that need to be taught that currently aren't taught?
I feel like the whole situation with all the brothers that we lost. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop is different than rap. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is our culture. Rap is kind of more explicitory or expository. You know what I'm saying? With rap, you got the violence, you got the gang affiliations, you got the sex trafficking, the drug trafficking. So I feel like people need to know how to stay in their lane, and if you're not about that life, don't be enamored with it. Leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? I feel like hip hop education, real hip hop education should be taught. I feel like brothers that write about hip hop should be looked at more, and a lot of it you got to do on your own. Like a lot of the things you learned and I learned about this culture was self-taught stuff, and I feel like that's the best way, because you have to make it make sense for you. Because all hip hop is our interpretation of stuff. It's not. I know they got classes on it and all that, but I'm hip hop because this is our culture. This is where we come from. Right. This is what we do. It's not nothing that I put on this shirt. So now this is a hip hop shirt because it says hip hop on it. That don't mean nothing. Right. Hip hop comes from the streets. Hip hop comes from not having. You know what I'm saying? And making something out of nothing.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like the whole rap kits, the making it rain, you know what I'm saying, cruising in a Wraith and all this whole extra stuff. People need to really like study the architects, study the forefathers of our culture and the context too. What was going on at the times? Like I'm real analytical when I break things down and when I put that hat on, because like I said, I'm in it. I'm a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Right. This is my chapter. You know what I'm saying? Rochester. You know what I'm saying? We not in the 5 boroughs, but we still a part of it, just like they is. Indeed. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so you gained. Oh, go ahead. I was just saying. It seemed like you got all this experience that you gained throughout all these years, man. Like if you were to go back to 2010, what would you tell your 2010 self?
2010 self.
New year 2010.
Yeah, same thing. Here. Just like I said, everything happened for a reason. I'm still breathing. Yeah. I'm still breathing, and life is a blessing, and that's another thing. Brothers got to be humble. Straight up, brothers got to be humble, man. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. Yeah. Good. For those who didn't get the reference, me and Az did a song called "The New Year." 10 years ago, 2010. And it's just crazy to think about how many things have gone on in the decade and how many lessons have been learned. Particularly in terms of like being humble, you know what I'm saying? Because it can be a long road, you know what I'm saying? But if you're not grounded as a cultural participant, to your point, you know what I'm saying? Then what is it all for? You know what I'm saying? You're definitely going to be getting really, really bothered if by the long race, by the journeymanship, if you're not grounded in what the culture gave you in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Because like I know hip hop taught me a lot, you know what I'm saying? Street code stuff, just life stuff that the school or my parents wasn't teaching, and I feel like we all share that same sentiment in some degree, some level. The artists that we looked up to when we was young, it was a reason. We looked at them dudes like heroes. You know what I'm saying? So and with that being said, these young kids is looking at these drill dudes the same way, and it's kind of scary because see 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, brothers were still talking about the streets, talking about this, talking about that, but they sprinkled jewels in that too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You look at Wu-Tang, you get a lot of colors of the spectrum from that, from the drug tales with Ray and Ghost, from the knowledge, RZA, Jizza, you know what I'm saying? It was you know, it was mixed up. Now it's not no more. You know what I'm saying?
You know, so I get into this conversation all the time, and I agree, but at the same time, I feel like there's something else that's kind of going on now that didn't happen when we was kids, right?
What's that? I want to hear this.
So when we was in middle school, right, circa 2000, the main people that were on the radio were Cash Money, Rough Riders, Rockefeller, right? And if you were listening to something like off of Ruckus or Def Jux, you were just like different. You know what I'm saying? If you're listening to Most or Common at the time, or Talib, or anybody else who had like an in-between kind of nature,
right?
Like it was different. Fast forward to after 2010, the very people who are products of that whole kind of movement, like with the Roots, you know what I'm saying? Like and all them, like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Joey Badass, like Chance the Rapper, like they all have super mainstream fame. Back in 2000s, there was no such thing as a conscious rapper or a political rapper or a non-gangster rapper having mainstream fame. You know what I'm saying? So I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, like I wonder how many kids are listening to the rappers I just named, because I know that they're popular, but how many young kids are listening to them? You know what I'm saying? So that just made me think a bit. You know.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, hip hop is very diverse. Yeah. It was in the late '80s and early '90s, you know, and it still is to this day. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? Like even like Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like, you know, I'm not a big fan of his, but I see the importance to the culture. You know, or even Drake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Drake
could never have gotten big
mega star
in the 2000s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And Kanye too, because Kanye also contributed to that. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
So,
all right, so we're tailoring off on the interview almost, man. So we're gonna get into the A side, B side, the pros and cons of each subject that we're gonna give out now.
Okay.
I mean, so let's start off with conscious community, man.
What's the A side, B side of the conscious?
Well, the A side to the conscious community is just thought. You know what I'm saying? Like it invokes thought, and it makes you think. It makes you look at things through a critical lens. The B side is everybody's hotep. Everybody's you know, everybody's so deep. Everybody's so deep that they not deep at all. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to be a know-it-all. You know what I'm saying? You got to be humble, man. Yeah. I keep saying it.
You don't know. You don't know. Keep it real with yourself.
And ain't nothing wrong with not knowing. I don't know everything. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. I heard somebody once say like it was just like putting information. Like if you have good information but it's on a bad hard drive, you know what I'm saying? Like the computer is still gonna have a problem. And I feel like that's the same thing with like conscious information. You can add new information, but the way that you process
and if you ain't applying it, if you still broke,
exactly, yeah, right.
Like what are you doing?
Exactly. It's
you telling me about the Illuminati and
right.
You know Baphomet and you know what I'm saying, and you know this and that, but you
Kundalini.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You ain't doing you walking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You on the button and no disrespect to that.
Right.
You got the uncle on, but you know, you asking me for money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta humble myself, man. Like it's just about applying it, and it's about being balanced. And I'm not gonna try to tell the next man or just have a debate for the sake of having a debate, for the sake of having an argument. If we gonna talk, let's build. Let's talk about getting this money. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about something about empowering our people and implementing that, and you know, and you know what I'm saying, making something of that instead of just having an argument, just I know that too, and you know what I'm saying?
No, for real. Yeah. No, you're right, man. Because you know, me and you build on a lot of that stuff, and like Brother Rich and Black Dot and all that, and there's a lot of richness with that. You know what I'm saying? It opens your mind up, it makes you think about things in a way that you never thought of, gives you information to apply, but at the same time, like not necessarily the people I just mentioned, but there could be that tribalism.
Right.
People fighting each other, and not enough gets done, or things get exposed in hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? In terms of how people move and
it's like no religion becomes your religion.
Exactly.
You building, you know what I'm saying? You know, that becomes your thing. So,
indeed. Word up. So the A side and B side of college.
College? Yep. Okay. A side of college is that in this world we live in, it's good to be informed and have education from academia, you know, especially, you know, for these jobs that are out here.
Yeah.
The B side is you go into a lot of debt. And a lot of these young kids, they don't know what they want to do. They just going to college because it's status quo.
Right.
Oh, after high school, I'm going to college. The partying, you know what I'm saying, all that. But they come home with a big debt. You know what I'm saying, big debt, and a lot of times they can't even. You know what I'm saying, they work in these jobs that are not in the fields that they went to school for.
That's true.
So
That's true.
It's a balancing act. I'm with trades. You know what I'm saying? I got a trade. So I'm with trades.
Trades are super slept on.
Still,
even with people suffering with the debt, like people are still sleeping on trades. You know what I'm saying?
Look at T. Washington.
Right. Get your vocations on.
All right. So what's the A side and B side to YouTube, man?
Oh, YouTube. Okay.
Let's go. Talk about it.
A side to YouTube is that it's really like the information highway. I know the internet is, but YouTube is just everything from kids to old folks, everything from, fixing a sink, you know what I'm saying, to watching whatever you want to watch. The B side is that it can be overwhelming, you know what I'm saying? But I do like the algorithms where, I may be watching something, and then when my stepson or my daughter, when they want to watch something, if I'm on the TV, I log out of mine and put them in the guests. Because I don't want what they watching in my algorithms, because I watch certain, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? But it's stuff for everybody on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Now, I know they talking about the monetization and how YouTube can kind of censor certain things. Right. You know what I'm saying? So is that aspect as well,
They
had like a decrease in monetization and all that.
That ad apocalypse not too long ago or whatever. So, you should be able to make some good money in YouTube, but now they made things a little bit more tricky for sure. So one more real quick before we hop off.
Okay.
Voice activated devices like Alexa, Siri, Google Home, A side, B side. Because they're starting to put those in. They're experimenting with putting those in some classrooms, by the way. That's why.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I like those. You know what I'm saying? We really live in some sci-fi type stuff, man. For real, like in the real world.
That's real though.
I guess the ones on the phone, like they don't recognize my voice like that sometimes. Like I don't know if I don't speak properly enough for the device, but I feel like there's a lot of good in those. But then it's always pros and cons to everything, like you said, A and B. So I guess the B would be, people, weaponizing it, or I mean, that may be a little Hollywood, but I don't know, just people, the government spying on us through those devices, and you know what I'm saying, just gathering data and not knowing what they want to use with the data, or like what I think Red Pill was saying was a lot of these devices are programmed for like white supremacy. Because if the people programming, like most programmers are white males or Asian males, or
There's
females.
a lot of research about that.
So, and all the computer does is move off of the data you're entering, you're giving it.
That's right. Yeah.
So if everything is stereotypical,
you
know what I'm saying?
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
There are two books that I bought and I haven't read yet in their entirety that talk about that. One is called, and they got really good reviews, the algorithms of oppression.
Okay.
And then Race and Technology, like real powerful.
Matter of fact, can you write those down?
Absolutely.
I'm definitely get on those.
Yep, I'll make sure to write those down and get those titles to you. But yo, man, so we're running low on time, man. This has been nothing but a pleasure. Again, y'all been listening to Cypher Scholars, part education, part hip hop, all culture. Peace to everybody listening on Facebook Live as well. We appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Please let them know how they can get a hold of you.
Oh, you get a hold of me at Smooth Freshness on Twitter, at Smooth Freshness on Instagram, Azariah YBG at Instagram, Facebook Azariah Smith or Darius Franklin.
Indeed, yo. Thank y'all for listening. We'll see y'all next episode of Cypher Scholars. Peace and progress.